So this is project number 1 in our Pretty Pumpkins class kit, and we'll be doing some stamping and some coloring. So for your inks, you're going to need Early Espresso and Tuxedo Memento Black. And for your coloring, you're going to need your Mossy Meadow blends, your Calypso Coral blends, and your Crumb Cake blends. So grab those. Also going to grab our, now I put these in order of how we use them to try to make it easy for you. I don't know, so it might be easier to just take them all out. I don't know. And kind of keep them in order, but the Very Vanilla one is the one we're going to work with today. This one right here. Put these back in there for another day. Now we don't have any die cutting to do today, so yay! We do have only a little bit of stamping. We're going to be stamping on this piece of Crumb Cake and a piece of Very Vanilla, and I think I put all of your, here we go, your label here. You get 2 of these, but you only need 1. Okay, so those are the things that we're going to be stamping on. So let's just put everything else aside. I'm going to do our stamping first today. Sometimes I mix it up and we do stamping later or whatever, but we'll do stamping first today. I only have 50% on my battery, so we can't waste a lot of time. So let's get our Stamparatus out and get a random stamp pad to make that level. Now let's see. This is a piece of Very Vanilla. It is 3 3/4 by 5. Yeah, 3 3/4 by 5. We'll be stamping I'd Pick You and this on here, the leaves. So let's get out our 4 by 6 piece of window sheet that helps us with our placement. So we're going to be using first our Memento Black. We'll need also our stamps. Okay, so here's our stamps and dies for the Pretty Pumpkins class. So we're not going to use any dies today, but these are the awesome dies if you want to use some of those later in our class kits. Alrighty. Now this is, if Friends for Pumpkins I'd Pick You is all one stamp, but we're going to mask off part of this, and it's real easy because it's all one line and they give you enough space there that you can mask that off. We'll be using this, and if Friends were Pumpkins, I'd Pick You. So if Friends were Pumpkins, I'd Pick You, and our 2 leaves. Awesome stamps. Oh, and we're also going to use the 3 pumpkins here. Duh. Duh, duh, duh. Okay. Now we're going to do the pumpkins later. And so let's do this part here first. And those are actually 2 stamps. So we're going to, I'm going to put it in the, that I'm going to need a little room. You know, I think because this is at the bottom, I'm going to put my plastic at the bottom, and I'm going to do that by using this line down here to, okay, so get back our leaves here in the upper left corner, and hopefully that's going to be I might want to put it a kind of lower, because what I'm going to have to do is slide this underneath there. So I'm going to put this down here in this corner so that I can slide this in here like that. And I'll just put this down here in this corner. All right, I hope you're staying with me. Okay, I'm going to ink this up. I like to rub it first to get all that fine detail with the memento. It seems to work better when I do that. Okay, so there's that. That's such a cute stamp. And now I'm going to put this down here at the bottom. And I guess I really need another. So I'm going to move this. Ink up my stamp again. It doesn't have to be a dark image because I'm going to color that. It's more of just an outline that I'm going for. So get my Honest Wipes, clean this off. So let me wipe this off. And then I'm going to also wipe off the plastic and dry it off on my Stampin' pants. Okay, so, and those wipes get my stamps pretty wet, so I like to dry them off with my microfiber cloth after I wash them. Kind of like when you wash dishes and you dry them. Okay, and then the other half is going to be, let me get my thing back. I'm going to put it here again in the bottom. The other half, I'm going to again put this in the top, maybe like right here, not all the way to the top. This is the other half of the leaves. Rub. Make sure I get all those fine little dots. Okay, now this time I'm going to slide it in here. And I can line it up this way. This helps me put it exactly where I want it. I'm looking to have these kind of like level, so they look level, like same distance from there to there and there to there, so they don't look okay. I think that's good. And now I will ink this up again. And again, it doesn't have to be a very dark image because we're going to be coloring. Clean off our stamp. Wash and dry. I push down to kind of get into those crevices. Okay, moving right along. Now we're going to clean this plastic off again because we're going to use it another time to do the dry it off. Again, I'm going to put it down here at the bottom, and I'm going to use the I'd Pick You part of this. So how we do that is we get our removable tape that I hope you all have. You can get it packs of 2 from Amazon or Office Depot if you're not an Amazon fan. Alright, so I'm covering that up and I'm pushing it down so that none of that top part gets any ink, so that when I ink it up, guess what? Only, and again I'm going to rub, only the bottom part gets ink. Okay, and I'm going to lift this up and stamp my image there. That shows me where it's going to be. Now I could use, I think I'm going to use a clean one because you know what? I don't want to take any chances. if you have anything like a masking paper, you could probably use that too, but I just think it's easier to use ink. All right, tape. Easier to use tape. So I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to put it, I'd pick you where I want it. I think that looks nice right there. All right. Here we go, ink up. And I want to get this all in one, so I'm going to ink that up really good. I don't want to have to do this again. I don't want to have to stamp it again, so I'm going to ink it up really, really good. And then when I push it down, I'm not going to push too hard. Okay, because I probably got a lot of ink on there. I'd pick you. Okay, I might push a little harder then. Now that I'd pick, maybe I can use this other side here. This can get messy, so be careful. The I'd pick is not as dark as I like it. Just, you know, I'm picky, right? Just be sure not to get ink on your fingers. There. All right. Now I'm going to wipe my hands off because I don't want to get any ink on my paper. Okay. And clean that off. Okay, so this is done, ready to color. Now we're going to do our piece of crumb cake, which is 3/4 by 5.5. Clean off our thing here. Put it down at the bottom. I'm going to move this down a little bit here. All right, so going to get our early espresso ink out, and we're going to mask the I Pick You with early espresso. There's our, get our 3/4 by 5.5. Slide it under there and put it in the center. If friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. Put that there. Put that there. Cover up the I'd pick you part. Ink it up with our early espresso. And stamp. And I am going to do that again because that is in colored cardstock and it likes to be a sponge. Okay. Let it soak up that ink. Okay, and the pumpkins part is just not coming out the way I want it to, so I'm going to try to get those pumpkins, really get the pumpkins. Okay, so that's all we're going to do with our early espresso. So we can put that away and clean off our stamp and our plastic. I think it's about time for a new wipe. That one's getting a little icky. Okay, so that's that. This is this. And now we can do our pumpkins. So we'll put this in the top corner, get our pumpkins. They are going to be in Memento Black because we're going to use our Stampin' blends. I had to look to see what that's called. Again, I'm going around and around to get all that fine detail. And now this is a very vanilla. It is a label. It's the second largest rectangle from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. These are the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and it's the second largest, so it would be this one right here. These are fun dies, a must have for an avid crafter. So I'm going to use this. It's just a piece of scratch paper. I put some of the Stampin' seal on. I'm going to slide that under there and line that up evenly so that my pumpkins are where I want them. That looks good. Move the plastic. Ink that up again, and again, it doesn't have to be really dark because it's an outline for us to follow for our stamping or coloring. So maybe just a little bit more there. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I'll put my ink away. Clean off my stamp. Now you have another one. If you messed up, you always have that second one to help you out in case you need it. Okay, clean off my plastic. Make sure you don't have any ink on your fingers. No ink, no inky fingers equals no tears. All right, so now let's clear away our stamping stuff. And we'll bring out our pens. I'm going to do some coloring now. So let's start with our Calypso Coral. Going to use the bullet tip, which is this part here, and we're going to use dark Calypso Coral, and we're going to go over these parts here in the center. Oops, I went outside the line. Oh well. Okay, so that's what we do with our dark Calypso Coral. So you can see, now we're going to take the light Calypso Coral brush tip and we're just going to color. And hopefully something is wrong. Why not? Why are you not working? I must have. Something is wrong. Let me try the other tip. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of ink coming out on that ink and that side, and not a lot of ink coming out on this side. So I'm going to have to do some blending, I guess. Wow, that's embarrassing. I wonder what happened to my Stampin' Blend. It should have been a lighter color like this, but it's not. It's really, really dark. I don't understand that. It's really, really dark there. Now that's going to be kind of hard to blend in. But I will do it. It'll just look like a really dark part of the pumpkin. I'll probably have to use 2 coats over here. So it's not going to quite look as nice, but we'll survive. Yeah, maybe when it dries. I'll just use my bullet tip. Takes more time to use the bullet tip, but I don't want it to be really, really dark, so I have no idea what happened to my brush tip. I haven't done anything with it since I used it last. Okay, there's my pumpkins, guys, such as they are. All right, the next thing we're going to do is our dark crumb cake bullet tip. And that is dry. Doggone it, what happened? All right, so we're not going to use the dark, we're going to use the light. If it works. I think it will. Okay, so it looks like it's one of those mornings where nothing works out. So if you want, you can also try to color these tiny little with your brush tip, assuming your brush tip has some ink in it. Looks like this one does, thankfully. Okay, then for the mossy meadow, do the same thing with the dark bullet tip. I'm going to do the leaves just like this, not a lot. And then the light mossy meadow brush tip, if it works. Yay, it does. And I like these because you can just basically touch it to the paper and the ink just flows. It just flows. And I'm not the best colorer, so it's good that it mostly does the coloring for me. I just move my pen around and the ink just kind of flows where it needs to go. Almost like magic. Okay. I think I will hit those again because I want them darker. I want them to look a little darker. Okay. And this probably needs another coat of Calypso Coral. just to try to kind of blend this in. And I like that the ink blends itself. You don't get any of those lines, color lines. Okay, don't have to be expert colorer. All right, and then for the leaves, we'll do the same thing with the dark. Just to add a little bit of dimension, and then the light mossy meadow. Okay, there we go. There's our leaves and for the inside. All right, so now we're ready to put our card together. So let's bring in, and remember I'm short on time, so we're gonna have to do this quick. Short on time on my battery. All right, so we have our 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 very vanilla. We have a piece of crumb cake that is 5 1/4 by 4 7/8. Is that correct? 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. And hopefully yours is right. If not, my paper says 4 7/8, so it's possible that yours is too big and you'll need to take an inch off, because I make the kits by my paper, and so this should be 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. So if it's wrong, fix it. You can take an inch off of it and make it 3 7/8. Okay, sorry. I'm human, sorry. So that's going to go there. And then we have a Calypso Coral. This die cut is from the Scalloped Contours dies. It's the largest one here, isn't it? Those are beautiful dies too. Scalloped Contours dies. You probably want to get those as well. It's going to go on top of our crumb cake. Our Calypso Coral is going to go above our crumb cake. Can you tell that I'm hurrying? Because I don't, my battery did die. Okay, so there's that. And then we have another piece of crumb cake that is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. It's going to go in the center. No ribbon to worry about. 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. Right there. Then we have some DSP from Harvest Meadows. DSP. It is 4 3/8 by 3 1/8. 4 3/8 by 3 1/8. Okay, there's that. It's going to go right above there. And then this is going to go to the top. Just a little bit of the DSP showing. Tiny bit of the DSP showing. Okay, and then let's go ahead and put a piece of Calypso Coral, 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. It's looking pretty, guys. Looking really pretty. And then we'll put this on the inside. And then this thing right here, we need to score. Now you can use your scoring tool, or you can use the scoring tool on this. Okay, I use the other scoring tool, but you may not have that. So what you want is you want to score about 1/8 of an inch from the S. Be sure to use your scoring tool, not your blade. Then you're going to turn it around and you're going to score about 1/8 of an inch from the other. Okay, so you got 1/8 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. Now you're going to flip it over and you're going to score 1/8 of an inch. You can line it up here. Figure out about 1/8 of an inch is right there. And then you over here, 1/8 of an inch is right here. So basically you're going to bend it down on the first score and bend it back on the first score, and then bend it back this way on the second score, so that you have kind of like a little banner thing going on like this. Okay, and then I like to put a glue dot on the back. And then that way when I bend it back, it stays like this. So behind, glue dot back here, so that when I do this, it stays down. Got it? Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our scissors and we're going to cut a little flag. And so we want about 1/4 of an inch, and then we're going to cut in to the center, not all the way behind, but the fold. And again, okay, so there's one. Again, about 1/4 of an inch from the fold, and then from the corner to the center, and then from the corner to the center. I need some scissors that have a sharper point. There we go. There's our banner. All right, hope that wasn't too hard for you. And our banner is going to go here, and just going to put it on with some glue dots. Okay, so glue dots behind the banner. One, and I'm going to twist. I'm not going to pull. One on each side of the banner tip. So I got one there and one there. Okay, and then on the back on the other side, twist and twist. And then this is just going to go down here below your pumpkins. Press down, and there's your banner. I'm going to take this and maybe make that a little bit neater. There. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, and then lastly, we've got 2 large and 1 small cream colored elegant faceted gems. So lastly, we have take your pick tool. We'll put these on. Couple over here, and get that up there. Come on, come on. So we got 2 large ones there, and then one of the small ones over, kind of just over here, just to balance things out. Alrighty, there's our first card in our Pretty Pumpkins class kit. And I hope you'll join me for card number 2. Well, thanks for joining me.